We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 Experience with myself, Thomas Maba. So guys, today I want us to do a stream a bit different. I don't know if whatever that I want us to do, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, because I'm trying to pin my WhatsApp numbers on the comment section so that you guys can leave me voice notes. Guys, today I want to communicate with you, and thank you so much guys to all of you who made an effort on my live stream to communicate with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. If it wasn't for you guys, you know that I always say this, if it wasn't for you, this channel wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. So thank you so much to each and every one of you who actually participated in making sure that the stream was successful. So guys, today I want you to send me voice notes. I want you to send me voice note about whatever that you want to talk about. Please do that. Whatever that you want to talk about. If you have questions for me, you can send them through, please. So I'm trying to pin a number here on my on the live chat so that you guys can send me voice notes on WhatsApp. Guys, you know, this is the reason why I started this stream. I said that my biggest goal in doing this platform is communicating with you in real time, and this is us. Here we are in real time communicating. So guys, I'm going to leave a number 06761064. I'm going to leave a number on the comment sections. I'm going to leave the number on the comment sections so that you guys can please send me those voice notes. Guys, what has been on your mind recently? What are you worried about? You know, if me personally, the one thing that I'm really worried about, guys, I'm worried about the future of South Africa, man. I'm worried about the future of South Africa. I'm worried about the fact that we have the lowest quality of politicians in the world, and these are the people who are supposed to take us to the promised land. These are supposedly the people who are supposed to take us to the promised land. So I just did a WhatsApp line. So on the WhatsApp line, guys, please send me those voice notes so that we can communicate in real time. Thank you so much. I will be looking at that. The reason why I say that I'm worried about the future of South Africa is because I'm worried about these people who go around pretending to have solutions, who go around pretending like suddenly they are the people fit enough to fix the mess that the African National Congress has done. Guys, we are in trouble. Next year, in less than 6 months, people are willing to to go to the polls to vote for politicians, to vote for these low quality politicians, hoping that some things are going to change in South Africa. I mean, I can tell you today, things are not going to change anytime soon in South Africa, because you look at the quality of politicians that we have. All of these guys, they are not serious about solving the issues of South Africa. I mean, you know, if the politicians were really serious about solving the issues of South Africa, all of them, they would come to one table. They would bring solutions so that the country can go forward. But the only thing these people are interested in is making sure that people do not vote for the other guy. The ANC goes around telling people that you cannot vote for the EFF, you cannot vote for the DA. The DA does the same thing, going around telling people that if you vote for the EFF, then South Africa is done. That's what the EFF is, that's what the DA is doing right now. They are even resorting to fear mongering to try to convince people to vote for the Democratic Alliance and not vote for the ANC and for the EFF. So I feel like all of these guys, they don't care about the future of South Africa, because if they really cared about the future of South Africa, they would come together, man. They would bring solutions. That is exactly what would happen. But now, that is not what is happening. And guys, honestly, let's be honest, man. You know, for the past 5 years, we've been complaining about the ANC politicians, but at the same time, I've been very critical of the opposition parties. These guys, they have nothing to offer for us. Politicians have nothing to offer for us. Because I can tell you today that even if you vote out the ANC, you can vote out the ANC, it's fine. who are you going to vote for? Is that person fit enough? Is that organization well structured? Man, come on, guys. Someone told me that now we need to get rid of the ANC so that we can put in the EFF. And I'm like, damn, how can we put in the EFF when recently a member of parliament of the EFF went to Carol Cliff show and she couldn't even elaborate what does land expropriation without compensation means. You have to understand this person is already in parliament. So whatever that you are complaining about the African National Congress is the same thing that you're going to get with all the other political parties. Man, this is the reason, guys, I always tell you that I started this platform to make you aware that politicians are not going to bring us any solutions. You have to understand that politicians, they thrive on hate, they thrive on division. As long as people hate each other, as long as people are divided in the country, politicians will always be relevant. This is why right now, if you go to places like Orania, politicians are not relevant there. Because in Orania, people do everything by themselves. They don't need politicians for nothing. This is why Orania is thriving today. It's because they got rid of politicians. They are doing everything themselves. Man, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this on the stream that people need to start doing things that they pay politicians to do. That is when people will realize that they don't need politicians. They don't need political parties. Because if right now as communities we can start picking up our own debt, we can start fixing each other's sewages, we can start doing all of these things that we pay the ANC to do, but the ANC is not doing. Guys, if we can do all of these things ourselves, if we can pay for these things ourselves, on top of paying for tax, man, I'm telling you, no one will vote for all of these political parties. Man, I look at all of these political parties, I look at the leaders, and I'm like, damn, man, is this the best that we can offer? You look at our political parties. Honestly, guys, is this the best we can offer? Come on. This is not the best that we can offer. This is not the best that we can offer, man. You look at other countries, man. You know, at other countries, just like at the United States, man, you can't just go there and start going around calling yourself a congresswoman. You can't just be a senator, man. There needs to be some sort of standards, man. You remember last time, Prince Mashele said, in South Africa, there are no standards. There are no standards in South Africa. Anyone can wake up tomorrow and decide to be a leader. And guess what? People are going to follow him. People are going to follow him. Anyone can wake up tomorrow and decide that I am the leader. And people are going to follow that person. This is the same thing that we saw with the Gaten Mackenzie and Ken Kunene. South Africa has no standards. It has no standards. You see at all of these ANC guys, man, with everything they have done to South Africa, South Africans still continue to vote for the African National Congress. It makes you wonder, man. Do people really want a better future for our children? Do South Africans really want a better future for themselves and for their children? Because I look at all of these guys, man. All of these political parties are the same. All of these politicians, they are the same. No one is better than the other. All of them, they are the same. Right now, they don't tell us any solutions. They don't give us any solutions. With all the problems that we have in South Africa today, all of these political parties, they are not offering any solutions. The only thing they are interested in is making sure that people are not voting for the African National Congress in 2024. This is the only thing that they want. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the future of the country. Because if these people really cared about the future of the country, man, 90% of the politicians that we have today, we wouldn't have. 90% of them. And worst part, in South Africa, there's no accountability. There's no accountability in South Africa. That is the most unfortunate thing. There's no accountability. So this is the reason why, again, people decide to sit at home and not go to the polls and vote. Because what is the point of voting for someone when that person commits a crime tomorrow? They are not even going to be held accountable. What is the point of going to the polls and vote and give someone that kind of a power? Guys, South Africa is in trouble, man. I'm telling you. South Africa is in trouble. Young people in this country, they are not even interested in any political discourse. This country is in deep trouble. Because I can tell you, man, as long as South African youth continues on the same trajectory, man, this is the place, this is how things will always be. Because Nothing will ever change in South Africa without the help of young people. If we really want to change this country around, we're going to have to do it with the help of young people. But you look at young people today in South Africa, man, they don't care about politicians. They don't care about politics. You'll hear some of them telling you that, no, man, I want nothing to do with politics. Not even understanding that anything that you do in your life has to do with politics. Anything is politics. They don't understand that, man. Election day, they just go out to drink with their friends so that they can complain tomorrow. This is why I hate South African youth so much, because these people, they sit at home, they decide not to take any action. They are not voting. They don't want to participate in any political discourse. But for 5 years, you will hear these people complaining about the things that politicians are doing. And I'm like, come on, hello, what is wrong with you? You decided to sit at home and do nothing. You decided, guys, you decided to sit at home and do nothing. How can you complain about the fact that the African National Congress has not created some sort of employment for you? Man, you decided to sit at home. Those are the consequences of deciding to sit at home when people are trying to change the direction of the country. And young people in this country are the ones that are hating the most. Hating the most. But at the same time, they're the ones who want nothing to do with politics. So it really makes you wonder, man, that are these people really serious about the future of this country? Are they serious about the future of their children? Because if they were serious about the future of their children, they will stand up and do something. They will stand up and do something. But no, we just decide to sit at home because it's fun, it's nice, it's election time. It's election time. You know when it's election time. We just take that as an advantage to go with my friends, to drink, to smoke, to get high. And tomorrow we're going to complain about the fact that there are no jobs in South Africa. Man, the South African youth is still going to learn the hard way, I'm telling you. 30 years into democracy, we still allow the seniors of this country to still determine the direction of this country. The seniors in this country, they will always vote for the African National Congress because of what the African National Congress has done from back then in apartheid. This is why people will always vote for the African National Congress. Because they can see that young people, man, are sitting there, they're stupid. That's why the African National Congress does not even cater to the young people. You remember last time, people were mocking President Ramaphosa for going to Jozini municipality in KZN. And when he got there, he unveiled a tape. Guys, can you believe it? A whole president unveiled a tape. People went crazy. People criticized him. Left, right, and center, people were criticizing President Ramaphosa. How can this guy, as a president of the country, be reduced to doing a job of a local councillor? Man, I'm telling these people that, guys, you guys are ignorant as hell. This is why the African National Congress will always win. The African National Congress knows who their base is. They know who their voters are. The African National Congress does not care about young people in this country. Why? Because they know young people are not voting. So sitting at home complaining, or going to Twitter, going to Facebook and complaining about things being wrong in South Africa really makes no difference, because when it comes election time, you're going to sit at home. So there's no need for the African National Congress to cater for young people in this country. There's no need. There's no need. Guys, I've already got a few messages here. MR64 says politicians are not the only cares to South African politics. I think big business is a bigger problem than politicians. Guys, I've said this. One of the biggest problems that we have in South Africa today is this issue of illegal immigrants. And the issue of illegal immigrants, it is hurting average South Africans. That's why you see people like Julius Malema condoning illegal immigrants coming to South Africa, because Julius Malema lives in Sandton. He doesn't have to deal with illegal immigrants on a day-to-day basis. You're going to have to deal with the illegal immigrants on a day-to-day basis. And the big business and the media, they play this game so well. Right now, South Africa is called xenophobic. Whenever South Africans try to say anything about all of these guys who come outside of South Africa, the first thing that the media will do, they will call you xenophobic to try to shut you up. Right now in South Africa, people feel like we can't even express ourselves because we have a media team that is going to make sure that you regret saying that people who come inside of the country without illegal documents are actually hating the country. It is true. South Africans, we have no problems with foreigners. Guys, people need to understand that this is South Africa. We are the most diverse country in the world. We have people from all walks of lives in this world. But the one thing that South Africans don't like is people who come into the country illegally. Because if you come into the country illegally, we cannot account for you for anything. Big business is benefiting a lot, especially when it comes to this thing of illegal immigrants, because these people are choosing to employ these people who come from Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, and who came illegally into South Africa. They are employing them with the half of the salary that they pay South Africans. Today, man, you just go to any restaurant in South Africa and tell me if you're going to see South Africans there. Go to any restaurant. Do you know why? Because they are benefiting from that. You are a South African, you are a smart person, you're South African. You wanna go and you want to be paid 4,000 rand, man. I'm telling you, man, a guy from Zimbabwe is gonna work for 1,500. They're gonna hire him on the spot. You as a South African, you are busy demanding high pay, demanding all of this, demanding high pay, a good working environment, a good relation. Man, all of these guys who come outside of South Africa, they don't care about that. They're going to work for half your salary. This is the reason why today in South Africa, we have 60% of young people sitting at home doing nothing. Majority of those people, they are graduates. Just imagine, man, they are graduates. Today, doctors, teachers, they are sitting at home doing nothing. They are turning into drug addicts. They are turning into drunkards. Some of them, they are even killing themselves because of depression. And just imagine going to university for 5 years only to come back and sit at home and do nothing. All right. Continue voting for the EFF. The EFF advocates for illegal immigrants. Man, you are going to sit at home. You are going to sit at home and don't complain about nothing. Let me see another comment here from CN. CN says, yes, my brother, I also believe as South Africans, we can thrive without politicians. We don't need them. We don't need politicians, guys. We don't need politicians. This is the reason why I'm telling you, politicians will always work hard to make South Africans not to look at Orania. Man, I'm not saying South Africans must go to Orania. As a black man, I don't give a damn about going to Orania. I don't care about going to Orania. But one thing I care about the fact that Orania is self-sufficient. That thing I admire. I don't care who says what. Orania is self-sufficient. They don't need politicians for nothing. They are thriving. They have their own currency. Everyone is working in Orania. There is no unemployment in Orania. Why? Because the place is self-sufficient. I've said this before. Politicians hate Orania because Orania reminds them of what South Africa could be like. But they are only telling you not to look at Orania because Orania does not allow people from other races to enter the place. They are just saying Orania is racist. Yeah, of course, Orania is racist to some extent. Of course, it is racist to some extent. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the fact that Orania is self-sufficient. Orania is self-sufficient. Why can't we look at Orania? Why can't we have civil organizations within our communities so that we can do everything ourselves? Guys, we're going to vote for politicians. I don't know how many times you guys are going to vote until you understand that the politicians will never do anything for you. Politicians will never bring you any solutions because politicians, they need you to have problems so that they can exist. It's 2023. People still don't understand that very simple concept. Politicians need you to have troubles in your life. They need you to be worried so that they can exist. If there's no trouble in South Africa, if there is no... This is why these people are working so hard to divide the South Africans. This is why.
The actions and inactions of the ANC have consequences that are very, very dangerous for South Africa and her citizens. They border on treason. Welcome to another video. Please subscribe, share and repost this video using #SmartVoters, #CitizenConcerned, and always beware of the comrades. I try to share these videos talking about how the ANC is corrupt and how they've destroyed this country. videos on how the EFF, Julius Malema and his friends are corrupt, and many people will say, why do you like talking about that? Why don't you give them a break? Excuse me? Are you serious when you're typing such comments? Another question they ask is,
man, we can't give politicians a break. We can't. This is our country, man. This is our future. We cannot give politicians a break. Why should we give politicians a break? We can't. We can't. That's why you see people every day on this platform telling me, no, Thomas, stop talking about this person, stop talking about that person. Man, who the hell do you think you are? This is our country. Do you think right now I can protect the feelings of Ramaphosa, the feelings of John Steenhuisen, or the feelings of Malema? Man, I love this country, man. I don't care about Ramaphosa, I don't care about Steenhuisen, I don't care about Malema. I don't care if their supporters are not happy with me. I don't care. I care about the average South Africans. I don't care about politicians, man. And people need to stop defending politicians, because politicians will not defend you. You're busy going around insulting us instead of starting a healthy dialogue about the future of this country. You're busy insulting us because we said something that you don't like about your favorite politicians. Man, do you sometimes think that maybe, man, this guy will never defend me with the same vigor that I'm defending him online? Right now, people have turned themselves into idiots because they are defending politicians. Man, we should always hold the politicians' feet onto fire. Always. You can't tell me that we need to give him a break. Give him a break for what? People are suffering in this country, man. Millions and millions of people are sitting at home doing nothing. If you are over 35, they tell you that you cannot apply for jobs because you are old. But you see these idiots sitting in parliament, 60, 70, 80-year-old idiots sleeping live on national television. But they are telling you that if you are over 35, no, you cannot apply. You cannot apply for nothing. No, you can't. Then you have people telling us that we need to give politicians a break. Man, give me a break. Don't give politicians a break. Give Thomas Mabaso a break. Justice. Give Thomas Mabaso a break. You see them in parliament sleeping. They are treating parliament like an old age home. They are sleeping in parliament. These are the man, you know, when you watch parliament, and the fact that every time when you watch parliament, these guys are always doing some stupid nonsense. And this is the only place where all of these guys can come together to try to push some legislations, to try to push some policies, so that the lives of average South Africans can be better. Man, you look at what's happening in parliament. Are you even surprised about the fact that South Africa it is at this position right now? Are you even surprised? I am not surprised. We are happy when we see the EFF causing havoc. We are happy when we see President Ramaphosa being condescending when he's supposed to answer questions. We are happy when we see John Steenhuisen and his friends making mess in parliament. We are happy about that. We are not happy about the fact that these guys are pushing some policies. They are pushing some legislations. They are debating the issues that are affecting South Africans. You look at the young children today. You look at women and children today, and you look at how targeted these people are. And you have politicians in parliament making a mockery of that house. Then you have their fans telling us to give them a break. Man, give me a break. Give me a break. Mr. Willie Erasmus says that, I hate saying this, but as a South African, we honestly deserve what we get. Man, we do. We keep voting for incompetent people. We complain about accountability, yet we don't hold leaders accountable. Speaking of accountability, you know, when you speak of accountability, this is why I was laughing at South Africans when they were saying that the banks should be held accountable for manipulating the rent. And I'm like, man, you've never witnessed any accountability in your life. What kind of accountability do you think the banks should have? Politicians have been stealing from you. For 30 years, man, the African National Congress has done everything in their power to convince people to get rid of the African National Congress, but people still love the African National Congress. They don't care that the African National Congress steals the money that was supposed to build toilets for children, and now children are still dying in pit toilets. People don't care about that. You saw what happened there in Pretoria with that guy, with that Edwin Sodi guy. Edwin Sodi guy, he was supposed to fix the water systems there in Johannesburg. What did he do? He decided to pocket the money and buy himself a 100 million rand mansion And now people had cholera. People died. And now people are saying, no. We need to hold Edwin Sodi accountable. South Africans don't know of any accountability. And this is our fault. The fact that we have never witnessed any accountability, it is our fault. I know South Africans, they don't like it when I speak like this, but it is a fact. We don't know any accountability. We don't know any accountability. If there was any accountability in South Africa, do you think the African National Congress will still be running the country today? Guys, have you seen the kind of mayors and the councillors that we have under the African National Congress? Do you think that is accountability? South Africans have never witnessed any accountability. They have never. South Africans, they are numb to the pain. Right now, man, you can sit and listen to the radio. And when you're listening to the radio, you can hear some report saying that the cadres have stolen 1.2 billion rands. I mean, South Africans will not be on the streets tomorrow. They will not do that. Now they were saying, the banks should be held accountable. Where is that talk of the banks should be held accountable? It is done. Nothing is going to happen to those banks. Nothing. It is done. So I fully agree with Mr. Willie when he says that we honestly get what we deserve. This is what Donald Trump said. Elections have consequences. These are the consequences that we are suffering for being the kind of people that we are. We've allowed the ANC to go around with their 30% nonsense. Now we have young people in this country, they can't even think because they are 30%ers. 30%ers, you can't even debate with a 30%er. This is why they are defending politicians. And we are telling these idiots that the politicians are supposed to be held accountable instead of being protected. But you have these 30%ers telling you that we should give politicians a break. We should not talk about such and such. We should not do this and do that because we are hurting the feelings of politicians. This is what we get. This is what we get. Mr. Willie, I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. South Africans, you know, guys, as much as I love this country, man, I feel like leaving sometime. I feel like leaving. I understand why some people are leaving the country. Because you look at everything that is wrong in the country and you're like, how long is it going to take to fix all of this mess? How long? You look at everything that is wrong in the country, man, I don't even want to get started on what is wrong with South Africa. I can sit here for 3 days straight telling you about what is wrong with South Africa. All of you guys knows the problems that we have in the country, man. How many years do you think it's going to take to fix the South African Police Service? You know, growing up in Atapelo, you remember growing up, we used to see fit policemen and policewomen. Man, those people, they could run. Back in the days, when someone was a policeman or is a policewoman, that person could run. You would never outrun a police. But today, you have all of these obese people calling themselves man, these guys are not the police, are not the police officers. But no, they are the police officers of today. They can't even run. Right now, even the South African Police Service, it's compromised. The whole institution is compromised. You know of all the allegations that have been leveled against South African Police Service, man, the whole institution is compromised. Bheki Cele is going around making stupid speeches, as if going around saying all of these speeches are making any difference. They are not making any difference. At the end of the day, is that an organization that he presides over is compromised, is useless. How many years do you think it's going to take to fix South African Police Service? You talk about the borders, man. How many years do you think it's going to take to fix South African borders? We don't have the borders. When are we going to build the borders? Man, the cadres are going to eat that money of the borders. If you think South Africa is going to build the borders anytime soon, the cadres are going to eat that money. And they're going to allow you and they're going to let you deal with the consequences of having illegal immigrants in your townships. Illegal immigrants are doing as they please in our townships, man. These guys, they're selling drugs, they're kidnapping, they're doing all of these things. And I call that treason. South Africans said what the banks did is treason. They say nothing about the fact that we have illegal immigrants that were allowed in the country, man. You know, if you have never lost a person, or if you are not a compassionate person, you will never understand that having illegal immigrants in the country is treason, because it is treason. Man, people have lost their children in the hands of illegal immigrants. People have lost their families. Right now, there are families that haven't seen their children, that haven't seen their loved ones for years, because most of these people were trafficked. Most of these people were dismembered. But no, It's fine. We love EFF. EFF advocates for illegal immigrants. We love EFF. That is the EFF. And we have endless, the spokesperson says the comrades, aka socialists and communists, make apartheid look like saints. Man, I'm telling you. That is the truth. The spokesperson, it is the truth. Our grandmothers used to tell us that back in apartheid, if you were unemployed, man, the police and the system were going to have a serious problem with you. People were being forced to go and work. Today, people are begging to go to work. Back in apartheid, today we are still using the infrastructure that was built by the apartheid government. But you have people going around telling you how bad everything under apartheid was. What has the ANC built in this past 30 years? What have they built? They are still using the roads that were built in the apartheid era, and they are failing to maintain the roads. They are failing to maintain the infrastructure. They are failing to maintain everything. And they go around telling people that apartheid was the worst thing to ever happen to South Africa. Man, having the African National Congress is the worst thing to ever happen to South Africa. Back in apartheid, young children were not sitting at home doing nothing. My grandmother used to tell me that there would be vans going around picking up people who are loitering around the streets, taking these people, going, forcing them to go to jobs. But today, you have millions and millions of South Africans roaming around the streets every day. And you wonder why the crime is up. These kids, man, are making apartheid look like kindergarten. You know kindergarten, this is what the comrades are doing. They're making apartheid look like kindergarten.
The actions and inactions of the ANC have consequences that are very, very dangerous for South Africa and her citizens. They border on treason. Welcome to another video. Please subscribe, share and repost this video using hashtag #SmartVoters, hashtag #CitizenConcerned, and always beware of the comrades. I try to share these videos talking about how the ANC is corrupt and how they've destroyed this country. Videos on how the EFF, Julius Malema and his friends are corrupt.
And guys, please. The top comment is a pinned comment for my WhatsApp line. Guys, please send me your voice notes. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the comments so much, guys. Please send me the voice notes. Let's get this started, man. I also feel like taking calls. What do you think? Do you think I should take calls? Do you think I should take calls? Tell me in the comment section.
The actions and inactions of the ANC have consequences that are very, very dangerous for South Africa and her citizens. They border on treason. Welcome to another video. Please subscribe, share and repost this video using hashtag #SmartVoters, hashtag #CitizenConcerned, and always beware
of the comrades.
I try to share these videos talking about how the ANC is corrupt and how they've destroyed this country. Videos on how the EFF, Julius Malema and his friends are corrupt, and many people will say, why do you like talking about that? Why don't you give them a break? Excuse me? Are you serious when you're typing such comments? Another question they ask is, if the people you speak about are so corrupt, then why are they not in jail? If Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema, or all these politicians are indeed corrupt, then why are they not behind bars? If Floyd Shibambu and his brother actually benefited from VBS funds, then bring the proof and arrest them. Why don't you open a police case against them? And I must admit, these are valuable and very good questions. The ANC-led government has adopted the habit of not investigating and prosecuting the many heads of corruption that are destroying South Africa. The public protector will compile evidence, make a report. The newspapers will spread the message. The news channels and even social media will be on fire. We will be amazed by the corruption so much that we share the information with our friends and our family, and we get so angry. We ask the question, what can we do? And we end up at the same sad point.
Yes.
A point of saying nothing is going to change. The ordinary citizen has heard it all before and he knows what follows. Based on prior experience, they know that even after the reporting is done, evidence presented, nothing will happen to the government officials and the business people involved.
This is why, man, people hate politicians so much. This is why people hate politics. But I feel like this whole thing was done on purpose to make people feel this way about politics. I think it was done on purpose because there is no way. There is no way. There is no accountability. You know, in South Africa, man, if you want to be a thug, if you want to be a criminal, a well-respected criminal, be a politician. You will never be held accountable if you are a politician. But if average South Africans can do maybe a fraction of what these politicians are doing, man, they will drag you to court and they will throw your ass in jail. If you can attempt to do what the politicians are doing, they will throw you to jail. So we have two set of rules in South Africa. We have rules for politicians and we have rules for average South Africans. Average South Africans are expected to abide by the law, to do everything by the law, to do everything right, to do everything straight. Average South Africans have been told that. But politicians can do whatever they want. Man, can you imagine? We have these ministers, guys, under the ANC government. Guys, what have these guys done? These guys have actually inflicted pain on South Africa, but these guys, they're still in parliament. You look at the ANC top 6. Look at the ANC top 6. How many of them there are implicated in the Zondo Commission? What has been done about the fact that these cadres have been implicated in the Zondo Commission? Nothing has been done. And right here we are talking about millions and millions, if not billions of rands. Nothing has been done. But today, if you, as an average South African, you commit, maybe you do a bit of fraud, maybe to try to get a bit of 10,000, man, they will drag you to jail and they will throw the keys away. But politicians can do whatever they want to do in this country. I fully agree with Mr. Willie again when he says that this is exactly what we deserve. The people of South Africa, they deserve this. I'm sorry to say this, but this is what we deserve. We've decided to be these kind of people. We've decided to be ignorant of anything. We have decided to play identity politics instead of just questioning politicians and holding them accountable. We've decided to play identity politics. This is why today people have their favorite politicians. Man, there is no politician that Thomas Mabaso likes. I don't like all of these politicians. I don't like political parties. I don't like politicians. Because I understand what these people are doing to South Africa. But today in South Africa, you have people who are fans of politicians. As if politicians, they are some sort of musicians or actresses. You have people who are fans of politicians. I cannot be a fan of a politician. Politicians are signing there that I'm willing to work for the people of South Africa. I'm going to work for the people of South Africa. There's so much money involved in this whole thing. But I'm willing to work for the people of South Africa. And what do they do when these people get there? What do they do? Now, if you're an average South African and you want a decent employment, you need to have some sort of degrees, some sort of, maybe some qualifications. But the cadres are hiring each other to top positions. And there is nothing that has been done about that. An average South African, you need a decent, maybe a decent degree to get a decent job. But if you're an ANC cadre, if you're an EFF, you have an DA, you don't need all of those degrees. You just being the member of that political party, it is enough for you to be the mayor of the whole town. Are you surprised when you see where South Africa it is today? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Average South Africans are required to have some sort of qualifications to get decent employment. Guys, we don't need all of these degrees. We don't need to go to universities to get all of these degrees, man. Let's join political parties for once. Let's join political parties for once. Because it can't be that we live in this country and we have allowed a situation where we have two sets of rules in this country. We have allowed that. It is our fault. It is our fault. We've decided to play identity politics instead of simply holding politicians accountable. We've decided to play identity politics. This is why today when you say something bad about John Steenhuisen, hey, you're going to have some people furious. If you say something bad about Malema, hey, the mob is coming. If you say something bad about Ramaphosa, hey, the ANC has done a lot for us. It's because people have decided to be the fans of politicians instead of seeing these people as people who are supposed to make their lives better. I remember the other day I was in town. While I was there, I saw some new ANC office. So I was like, this is pretty interesting. What is really exactly happening there? So I saw some few ANC cadres, the young cadres. I saw them outside the office. Then I went there and said, guys, I see this office. I've never seen this office before. Is it a new office? Yeah, it is a new office. What is this office for? No, it is an office for the premier. And yeah, I understand it is an office. Like it's written that it's an ANC. What the premier office? What is it exactly that what it does to better the lives of average South Africans? That was my next question to these idiots. They couldn't answer me. What is it exactly that this office is doing to better the lives of average South Africans? Nothing. They couldn't answer that because they are not used to being challenged. They are not used to being asked questions. Politicians are used to people bowing their heads to them. They are not used to people asking them questions. What is it exactly that you guys are going to do to better the lives of people in our town? That was my question to these people. And these people, they couldn't answer that. They were just happy to be the members of the African National Congress. They don't care about answering me. They were just happy to be the members of the African National Congress. They don't care. They don't even know their responsibilities. They just know that they work at the office of the premier. I don't know what they do, but they are just happy they are there. There's another comment says from Jackson Buhluku. Mr. Jackson Buhluku says, I enjoy watching your content, Mr. Mabaso, but I don't agree with your political views. All the best with your journey. Man, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with me. I actually like when people disagree with me. The only way that we can learn is by disagreeing with each other. We cannot sit here and rub each other's egos and hoping that we can learn something next. We cannot. The only way we can learn from each other is if we disagree with each other. And I appreciate the fact that you still watch the content, even though that you don't agree with my views. I still love the fact that you still watch the content, and thank you so much, Mr. Jack Buhluku, for watching the content, even though you don't agree with the political views. I do the same. I watch other political content, other political channels where I don't agree with their political views. This is what we do. We watch even people that we don't agree with so that we can see, maybe we can learn something from there. You know, you can learn from your enemies. You can learn from your enemies. Guys, we are not here because we want all of us to agree on one thing. It is okay for us to disagree, and I like it when I have people who are disagreeing with me. Even on the comment section, man, I always have people disagreeing with me. I like it so much because it is helping us grow. Because by debating these points, we are actually growing. So thank you so much, Mr. Jack, for watching. Even though that you don't agree with my views, I watch a lot of political channels that I don't agree with. Thank you so much for watching, my bro. Mr. Daniel McGalpine. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, man. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Mr. Daniel McGalpine says, morning, Thomas. You have no idea how important you are to South African people and the lady on your show today. Both of you are amazing. Keep it. Big thanks. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. Mari says, I lived under apartheid for most of my life, and I can unashamedly say that apartheid was much better in not so many ways and safer than the ANC government. Guys, these are the things that the people don't want us to discuss. You know, this is what politicians has done to South Africans. This is why I'm so frustrated as South Africans for not looking at Orania to see how Orania is self-sufficient. This is why I'm so mad as South Africans. Man, I'm not saying South Africans must go to Orania. As a black man, man, I've already said this, man. I don't care about going to Orania. I just appreciate the fact that these people are self-sufficient. Mari says things were much, it says even their communities were safer under apartheid rule. But today, man, guys, let's talk about crime. Today, crime is totally out of control. Crime is totally out of control. We have an incompetent minister who doesn't know what he's doing. Crime is totally out of control in South Africa. Tapelo Njaka. Tapelo. Always. Oh. Guys, the crime is totally out of control in South Africa. We are not safe in South Africa. I mean, I've already said this before. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in the suburbs, you can live in the farms, you can live in the townships, you can live in informal settlements. If there's one thing that makes us common as South Africans, it is the fact that we are not safe as South Africans. We are not safe. You can take your children to the farms, man, you are not safe. You know what is happening with the farms. You can go to the suburbs, man, people are losing their million-rand cars. It is not safe. You can go to the townships, you can go to informal settlements. You are not safe in South Africa. People are living with constant paranoia. South Africans right now, whenever you go to the shops and you come back home safe, you say, thank God. Thank God nothing happened to me. Because going to the shops and coming back unharmed, guys, how can we appreciate something so much? You know, we've lost one of our friends. I remember we visited another location and one of our friends went there to buy a cigarette. Man, can you believe this idiot? They stabbed him to death. The guy simply went out to buy cigarettes. He couldn't come back home. This is why I appreciate it so much. Whenever I'm out and coming back home safe, I'm saying, thank God, nothing happened to me. This is the kind of country that we live in today. People are not safe. You are not safe in your home. You are not safe wherever you work. You are not safe on the streets. There is nowhere where you are safe. Crime can literally touch you whenever you are. Crime can affect you whenever you are. You can be the victim of murder today, wherever you are. Criminals can kill you today, wherever you are. They can kill your family. They can kill your children, wherever you are. This is how bad things are right now in South Africa. Mr. Shane says, you keep going, speak the truth. Yeah, Mr. Shane, thank you so much, man, for watching. Aguna says a president cannot defend a nation if he is not held accountable to its laws. It's a very profound quote by the Shane Strokes. You can't defend the nation, man, if you cannot be held accountable to its laws. But this is what is happening right now, man. You saw with Palapala. You saw what happened with Palapala. President Ramaphosa didn't even tell people that he had foreign currency in his farm. After that guy, you remember that guy who ratted him out, said that they stole foreign currency in the president's farm. President Ramaphosa was questioned about that money in his farm. President Ramaphosa, why do you have so much money under your mattresses, under your sofas in Palapala? President Ramaphosa said, no, that money is mine. That money is mine. It comes from a Sudanese billionaire, Hazim Mustafa, who happened to buy buffaloes for me. So that money is mine. The South African Revenue Services, they came out and said that the transaction was perfect. Man, this is why I'm telling you that to fix South Africa is going to take 50 years. And we are not going to fix South Africa with the help of politicians. It is going to take 50 years to fix South Africa. Because the president said that the Palapala money, it is his. He got that money from a Sudanese billionaire who bought buffaloes from him. The South African Revenue Services under Kees Vetter, they came and defended President Ramaphosa, said the deal was above board, man, only for South African Reserve Bank to say that the deal, the transaction was not perfected. Even the buffaloes that were supposedly bought were never delivered to Mr. Mustafa in Dubai. So the question remains, who the hell does that money belong to? Because the president cannot claim that money as his. He cannot. He cannot. They are letting the president get away with that. They are letting the president get away with that. And for some reason, they think there can be some sort of accountability in South Africa. Guys, there's no accountability in South Africa. Politicians have made sure that there's no accountability for South Africa. You remember now, the Parliament Ethics Committee have recently exposed Floyd Shivambu for not declaring the money that he got from Sgamega projects. We know, aka VBS, Floyd Shivambu didn't declare that money. He got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rand from Sgamega, the same Sgamega that was investigated for being, with VBS. Floyd Shivambu didn't declare that money. But they slapped him on the wrist, man. These guys in parliament, these guys there in parliament, they are making laws to make things easier for them. These sanctions that they are being placed, man, it is a joke. It is a joke. People lost their lives. When VBS broke down, people lost their lives. People lost their savings. And you have a politician in parliament who is allegedly took money from one of the companies that benefited from the downfall of VBS, and nothing happens to him. Now he goes around doing the press conferences as if everything is okay. Then you have people telling you about accountability. Guys, there will never be accountability in South Africa. You need to understand that there will never be accountability in South Africa. As long as we still live under the politicians, there will never be accountability in South Africa. Never. You can say whatever that you want to say. There will never be any accountability in South Africa. You, the people, you keep voting for these people. You keep debating who is a better demon between these people. I'm telling you that there is no politician that is going to fix South Africa. South Africa will only be fixed by South Africans. Before South Africans says that, guys, it is time for us to roll our sleeves and get to work, that is the only time things will start changing in this country. If you think that politicians are going to solve your problems, when politicians thrive on problems and divisions, then you are certainly mistaken. I get so pissed off when I see people debating about who is a better politician. Man, all of these politicians are the same. Don't tell me about politicians. Don't tell me about politicians. I have Mr. Tembazwane says, morning Thomas, you are bringing up conversations that are very uncomfortable for a lot of people. And thank you for your podcast, because we cannot live like everything is good when it is bad. Thank you, man. We cannot do that. We cannot keep pretending like things are good in South Africa. Man, things are not good in South Africa. Things are bad in South Africa. Things are bad in this country. It is going to get worse. In 2024, people are going to the polls to vote for politicians. This is when I understood that things are going to get worse. The whole political system, man, we should boycott it. Let's boycott it. We have a lot of people within our communities who are well capable of running these institutions. We don't need politicians, man. We don't need politicians. If you think what ANC is doing with the cadre deployment, if you think that the other political party is not going to do that, then you are sadly mistaken. You are dealing with cadre deployment under the ANC, you are still going to deal with cadre deployment under EFF, you are still going to deal with cadre deployment under the DA. You are still going to deal with that. You're still going to find people who are not even qualified to be holding some of these top positions. This is what you're going to get. Because we've allowed a system that says the politicians are the ones who are going to bring solutions. Guys, these people are not going to bring us any solutions. They only care about their money. They don't care about bringing solutions to South Africa. This is why I always make an example about Musimaimani with Build One South Africa. And who is this guy from Shiluva, Bongani Baloyi, and Songezo Zibi from Rise SA. Musimaimani, Build One South Africa, Songezo Zibi, Rise SA, and Bongani Baloyi with Shiluva. You listen to this, you listen to their manifestos, you listen to their values, you listen to their policies. Man, all of these parties are the same. Why can't they form one party? No. Everyone wants to be a leader. This is the reason why they can't form a single party. Why can't they form one party? If they have the same values, if they have the same policies, if they have the same vision for South Africa, why can't they form a single party and say, guys, me as Musimaimani, I'm bringing Bongani Baloyi and I am bringing Action SA and I'm bringing Songezo Zibi. Guys, we are going under one umbrella. We have same vision for the country. We have same values. And we want the same thing for South Africa. We are going to have one political party. We're going to force the ANC to come to the table and discuss the issues that are affecting South Africans so that we can have solutions, so that the lives of average South Africans can be bettered. No. No. Hell no. Hell no. Everyone wants to be a leader, man. I'm telling you. All of these guys, all of them, they want to be leaders. They want to go to parliament. All of these guys. Right now, Ace Magashule walking around with his ACT party. Ace Magashule opened a party after he was dispelled, after he was kicked out of the African National Congress. He went out and opened his own political party. Carl Nias, who is supposed to be Ace Magashule's best friend, opened a political party. Why can't Carl Nias and Ace Magashule combine brains and come with one political party that is going to have a certain values, certain vision for South Africa? Why? Because everyone wants to be the leader in South Africa. You still don't understand that? It's fine. Mr. Elder says, should you as a South African not be worried about your country's position on Israel? How can you say leader call that conflict political? It is not religious. What is Mr. Elder really saying? Should you as a South African not be worried about your country's position on Israel? How can any sane leader call that conflict political and not religious? Guys, I don't understand the question. Guys, Mr. Elder, please, can you try to rephrase it in a way that I can maybe try to understand it? Mabaker says 42 bus loads of children no older than 8 years were stopped at Bridge. Roughly, that is 4,000 children kidnapped from families and on their way to child traffickers. And we have people today talking about treason. They are telling the banks what the banks have done, it is treason. Listen to that. 4,000 children kidnapped from their families. 4,000 children, guys, 4,000 children. How many families have lost their children because the borders are open? How many, guys? How many? Is that not treason? So if you are not outraged about the fact that we have open borders in South Africa, how can you be outraged about the fact that the banks have manipulated the rand? You are okay with everything that is wrong with this country. You are okay with that. Man, I feel sorry, man, for Afro South Africans, man. And you see this whole thing of 30%, man, it has really, man, messed us up. It has really messed us up. People cannot even think. You see, when we say treason, man, I can tell you 20 examples right now on the go that I can tell you straight that I don't care who says what. According to me, according to my understanding, that is treason. I can tell you now. I can tell you now. I already told you that opening the borders, it is treason. I already told you that stealing money from the public, stealing the taxpayers' money, that is supposed to better the life of South Africans, that is treason. That is treason. If you are supposed to build toilets and you decide to pocket the money, instead of building the toilets, you decide to pocket the money. And now you have families that have lost the children to the pit toilets. That is treason. That is treason. Guys, we are in deep trouble in this country, man. You've already saw the poster, man. South Africa is in deep trouble. Guna says, very true, Mr. Temba Madiba was a great man and he knew that in order to enjoy the learning experience, it was better to shut your mouth and open your ears. Our politicians need to learn that. BKG says, if only politicians and community leaders were as passionate as you are. Man, I'm passionate about this country. I've heard a lot of people saying that, Thomas, you need to start running for office. Man, you know, if I start running from office, I'm going to have to lie to you guys. I know that many of you guys, you enjoy watching these views because you know that I'm telling the truth. But if I decide to be a politician tomorrow, because I think I'm going to decide to be a politician, man, you know, in South Africa, I'm going to try to be a politician, you know, just to get a few million rands and go live comfortably with my children. A lot of people have really called for me to join political parties. Guys, I'm not even interested in joining any political parties. I don't want to be a politician. I do not aspire to be a politician. You look at the politicians that we have in South Africa, and these people, they're not even inspiring. Children are not even looking up to these people. You remember back in the days, children wanted to be like Nelson Mandela. They wanted to be like Chris Hani. Because those guys, you can see that there is something great about these people. Children admired to be like Nelson Mandela. Children admired to be like Chris Hani. Children admired To be like most of the leaders, man, Thabo Mbeki made being a president look cool because Thabo Mbeki was a cool person. You could aspire to be like Thabo Mbeki. You would hear children saying that when I grow up, I want to be a president like Thabo Mbeki. Today we have the lowest quality of politicians that we have ever seen in our lives. The lowest quality, man. You know, just when you thought you can't reach the below, you scratch. You know, just when you thought you can't go any lower. This is where South Africa it is. And you honestly sit back and watch all of these politicians, and you look at them, and you minus all the noise surrounding all of these politicians. You look at these people. Do you honestly look at these politicians and think that, okay, these people are going to bring us any change? What is your favorite political party? Which political party are you going to vote for next year? And tell me, why are you going to vote for that political party? And why do you think that political party it is going to bring change in South Africa? Guys, tell me in the comment section. Mr. Shane says politicians must be public servants, not public heroes. Well, Mr. Shane, right now, politicians, they are celebrities. They are not the public servants, they are celebrities. Guys, it is hot today, man. Politicians are celebrities today in South Africa. They are not public servants. They have people protecting them online. Whenever you try to say something, whenever you try to question something, you have people defending politicians online every day. Because people have decided that these politicians are going to be their celebrities instead of being public servants. They are treating politicians like celebrities. Now you have politicians thinking they are celebrities. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be questioned about anything. You look, guys, just look at where the country is, man. What do you think is going to happen to South Africa in 20 years' time? What do you think is going to happen with South Africa in 20 years' time? Baker says, child trafficking is bigger than drugs. You can only sell a packet of cocaine once. You can sell a child 10 times a day. Will those little ones ever see their families again? Guys, I've already said this, opening borders, it is treason. To me, opening borders, it is treason. I don't care who says what. I'm not going to be here outraged about the fact that the banks have manipulated the rents. Man, I've been outraged about everything in this country. I'm also outraged about the banks manipulating the currency, but knowing how South Africa operates, knowing how the laws of this country operate, I decided not to be outraged about the banks manipulating the rent because I know nothing will happen with these guys. If our justice system has failed to deal with politicians, how do you think they are going to take on the big banks? Politicians are small fish compared with these guys. Politicians are small fish compared to the banks. Politicians are nothing. And our justice system fails to hold the politicians accountable. But for some reason, you think our justice system will hold the banks accountable. Man, I am choosing not to be outraged about that.
The actions and inactions of the ANC have consequences that are very, very dangerous for South Africa and her citizens. They border on treason. Welcome to another video. Please subscribe, share and repost this video using #SmartVoters, #CitizenConcerned, and always beware of the comrades. I try to share these videos talking about how the ANC is corrupt and how they've destroyed this country. Videos on how the EFF, Julius Malema and his friends are corrupt, and many people will say, why do you like talking about that? Why don't you give them a break? Excuse me? Are you serious when you're typing such comments? Another question they ask is, if the people you speak about are so corrupt, then why are they not in jail? If Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema, or all these politicians are indeed corrupt, then why are they not behind bars? If Floyd Shibambu and his brother actually benefited from VBS funds, then bring the proof and arrest them. Why don't you open a police case against them? And I must admit, these are valuable and very good questions.
Fact.
The ANC-led government has adopted the habit of not investigating and prosecuting the many heads of corruption that are destroying South Africa. The public protector will compile evidence, make a report. The newspapers will spread the message. The news channels and even social media will be on fire. We will be amazed by the corruption so much that we share the information with our friends and our family, and we get so angry. We ask the question, what can we do? And we end up at the same sad point.
Yes.
A point of saying nothing is going to change. The ordinary citizen has heard it all before, and he knows what follows. Based on prior experience, they know that even after the reporting is done, evidence presented,
Yes.
nothing will happen to the government officials and the business people involved. Very, very rarely do you see action resulting in severe punishments to these corrupt people. Edwin Sodi only ended up in jail after more than 30 people had died due to his corruption and incompetence. He had made about $1 billion per year for many years through these activities and never got into trouble. But once people started dying because of the dirty warts in one of his tenders, Cyril Ramaphosa instructed the SIU to investigate him. Imagine that. All the reports of the looting, corruption, and irregular tenders were ignored. But once people died, that's when they came to seize his houses. Evidence was there.
And Ramaphosa, man, you know the Ramaphosa administration. The Ramaphosa administration, there's something that I don't understand about Ramaphosa administration or him as a person, President Ramaphosa, because guys, when this guy became the president, he said the first thing that he's going to do is going to fix the NPA. He is going to fix the NPA. That's what President Ramaphosa said. 4 years into his presidency, all of these people that were accused in the Zondo Commission, all of the politicians that have been accused of numerous crimes are still roaming around. And you have Fikile Mbalula and President Ramaphosa going around and telling people that now our administration is still fixing the NPA. So how many years does it take to fix the NPA? How many years? You said the first thing that you're going to do. You remember they paraded Shamila Batoyi around as if Shamila Batoyi was the best thing since sliced bread. They paraded Shamila Batoyi around, telling us that this is the lady that is going to make sure that there is accountability in South Africa. This lady she's going to build the NPA from the bottom. They said that under Jacob Zuma, the NPA, some of the positions were not filled. So this is the reason why some of the cases could not go up, because they purposely distracted the organization structure so that some of the papers cannot go up. Ramaphosa came and said that no, man, we're going to fix that. We're going to make sure that every important office in the NPA has a person in there. We're going to make sure that if you have a case with the NPA, man, it is going to go up. What has happened? All of these people that were accused in the Zondo Commission. Guys, you remember when we were watching Zondo Commission? You remember Agrizi, man. You remember Agrizi. Agrizi even telling us the design of the mat of Nomvula Mkonyane, saying, man, I know your house. This is how your house is like. You have a mat and the mat is like this and this. You have these designs in your house. I know this because I used to bring a truck of food in your house. Man, Agrizi went to the details. Agrizi went to the details. Nothing has happened. Nothing. There is no accountability in South Africa, man. If there's one thing that you need to understand, there is no accountability in South Africa. Understand that. The moment you understand that, man, maybe we'll try to, maybe we'll take the next step. Because I feel like right now, people don't understand that there is no accountability in South Africa. This is why they're picking and choosing. They're picking and choosing. You have the EFF guys going around telling you that opening the borders and families suffering in the hands of illegal immigrants, it is not treason. But they are the first ones to tell you that, man, the banks have manipulated the rent. That is treason. They say nothing about the fact that families have lost their children in the hands of illegal immigrants that they are advocating for.
The looting, corruption, and irregular tenders were ignored, but once people died, that's when they came to seize his houses. Evidence was there, reports had been made, but people had to die for any action to be taken. So we can say, well done, Mr. President, for allowing the SIU to investigate, but it's more than 30 people too late. I'm sick to my stomach when I realize that this government has created that network of corrupt officials and businessmen that no matter what, you can report them as corrupt, but they will not end up in court for their corruption, much less jail. Mbeki fired Jacob Zuma for corruption. But why was Zuma's firing not followed by a day in court to answer for that corruption?
It is because there is no accountability. There's no accountability. You know, the comrades, after they seized power in 1994, man, the comrades thought that maybe, man, we can't hold each other accountable. I sometimes feel like the ANC has made a deal. I feel like the ANC as an organization, I think like they've decided that, guys, we're not going to hold each other accountable. They keep justifying it by saying that, man, you know, the apartheid government was giving us a tough time, so we're not going to hold each other accountable. That is the only plausible explanation that I can have, because there's no way. There's no way. And even if you wanted to report these people, where are you going to report them? If you want to report corrupt cadres, where are you going to report them? You can't even go to a police station to report a crime against a politician. They're going to laugh at you. Just imagine walking inside a police station, saying that you want to report a crime against a minister, an MMC, a mayor, or a councillor. Man, these people are going to laugh at you. Because even in the police system, they know that we cannot hold the politicians accountable. If you come there and say that I want to lay criminal charges against President Ramaphosa for letting the borders be opened and people losing their families, I want to open a criminal case against President Ramaphosa, they are going to laugh at you.
Less jail. Mbeki fired Jacob Zuma for corruption. But why was Zuma's firing not followed by a day in court to answer for that corruption? Mbeki let us down there. Not long after Zuma was fired, he was back running for presidency instead of sitting in jail. The Gupta family managed to run away from South Africa with billions. They worked with Zuma and Zuma's son Duduzane to sow division in South Africa, but they were not punished. The same Zuma's son now has the audacity, like his father, to run for presidency instead of hiding in shame. He wants to be a president now. Julius benefited in tens, if not hundreds of millions of rands, and nothing happened to him. He's running for presidency right now too. It's almost as if there's a job advert circulating that reads, "Are you corrupt? Are you incompetent? We're looking for you to run for presidency. Apply today." The Minister of Electricity has a serious record of being either so incompetent or so corrupt or both in his previous posts. But right now, he's a Minister of Electricity appearing on TV, acting like a celeb who knows what he's talking about. Any person who knows the news articles related to him should feel nauseous. But there he is.
South Africa is a movie, guys. I'm telling you, South Africa is a movie. South Africa is a movie, guys. Please drop those voice notes, guys. I've pinned a WhatsApp line on the pinned comment. I've left a WhatsApp line. So, guys, please drop those voice notes, guys. I want to hear what are your thoughts on what we are talking about today. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to wait for your voice notes while we are watching Katlego.
News articles related to him should feel nauseous. But there he is. He should be in orange, but he's on your screen in Michael Kors sweaters with Ramaphosa's stamp of approval. Minister Ramaphosa Ramaphosa's track record, his poor experience, corruption, and incompetence show that he was not only a poor choice for the job of Minister of Electricity, but he's supposed to be behind bars for the billions that have disappeared.
Look at him, guys. Just look at him dancing.
He's supposed to be behind bars for the billions that have disappeared because of his corruption, his lack of skill, talent, and ability. With more than 2,000 cases of corruption registered at Eskom, this man, who Ramaphosa wants us to believe is clean and competent, told us that corruption is not the problem at Eskom. Imagine, corruption is not a problem at Eskom. There are several people in government who have this problem, and like Minister Lamini said, each one has their own smallanyana skeleton, right?
Anyone who wants to raise an issue about what has happened to them must go to the structures of the ANC, because this has been the culture of the ANC. And therefore, if there are differences, they must be sorted out from the officials level up until the National Executive Committee level. They cannot be sorted out through media statements. So we might have different issues, and all those issues are not important. It is the ANC that is important. All of us there in the NEC have our smallanyana skeletons, and we don't want to take out all skeletons out, because they will be, or hell will break loose.
Uma bazizinto ngami engingazazi mina ngazi izinto ngabo abanye abazaziyo bona ukuthi zinjani.
You can hear that when these people are threatening each other live on national television. Jacob Zuma is saying that if there is something that they know about me, I also know things about them. They are playing this dirty game at the expense of South Africa. They are playing the dirty game at the expense of South Africa. I don't know how many times must I shout and scream that politicians will never do anything for South Africans, man. I don't know how many times I must scream and shout that, guys, we have the guys, you look at these politicians, man, we have the lowest quality of politicians ever. We don't there is no standards that we want in South Africa. Even me, tomorrow, if you know someone with a few million rands who wants to fund a new political party, guys, let's go and start a new political party. Maybe we can go to parliament and enjoy the perks of being in parliament while the people suffer. This is exactly what is happening. I don't know why people in this country, man, still debate about which political party is better than that one. All of these political parties are the same. I don't know why people debating about that.
Uma bazizinto ngami engingazazi mina ngazi izinto ngabo abanye abazaziyo bona ukuthi zinjani.
If they know things about me that I don't know, I also know things about them. So I don't want them to appear innocent at my expense. I will defend myself.
Imagine, these ANC people know each other to be corrupt and use it to keep each other and themselves in power. Just how disgusting. And affected citizens still want to pledge allegiance and loyalty to these kinds of people? Statements by Dlamini and Zuma are part of why we see Cyril Ramaphosa is just an empty suit, a placeholder, a man with no mission, just big smiles, big salary, big cars, while he has no targeted mission, or at least no mission that is targeted to the benefit of South African citizens. That's why you see that he appoints corrupt people in power. They probably know his smallanyana skeletons. Corruption goes unpunished in South Africa so much that I even started to wonder whether the law has anything about corruption at all. Is this even a crime? Is corruption even a crime in South Africa?
Nope.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot. So I checked, and according to SAPS, Chapter 2 of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act of 2004 defines corruption as any person who gives or accepts or offers to give or accept any gratification amounting to an unauthorized or improper inducement to act or not act in a particular manner is guilty of an offense. Chapter 3 tells us what corruption looks like, and it is what we thought it was. We see words like illegal, dishonest, unauthorized, incomplete, or biased. The abuse of a position of authority, a breach of trust, the violation of a legal duty, or a set of rules designed to achieve an unjustified result, or that amounts to any other unauthorized or improper inducement to do or not to do anything. Part 2 says aiding or assisting in procuring or preventing the passing of, granting of any contract or advantage in favor of any person. So South African law does speak to corruption. Yet to this day, Zuma has not been to jail for his corruption.
He will never go.
He hasn't been to court to answer for his crimes. Yes, he went to jail, but for a crime unrelated to the corruption itself. Imagine that. I'm confident that Cyril Ramaphosa has his own issues, including Marikana, Palapala, and other smallanyana skeletons that make him complicit in corruption activities. Why else would the man who is supposed to uphold the law above everyone else not take action against criminals? Why? That's why Malema, Shivambu, Zizi Kodwa, and many others in the ANC are confident they can simply say, arrest us if there is a story. There's no dignity in the office of the president or any of the MPs and ministers that support him. They've desecrated our public institutions so much that even when you've been a criminal, you feel confident enough to run for president. When you and I apply for employment, there's a background check that's done. They check if we have criminal records.
Yeah.
Many people are wary of committing crimes in order to not jeopardize future chances of employment. But in politics, criminals are so ambitious, they are breaking boundaries, applying for the highest, cleanest, most dignified jobs. Criminals are now becoming mayors and even trying to be presidents of this country. Why? Because if Malema and Zuma can do it, then anyone can do it, right?
Exactly. And this is the same thing that I was talking about. That these people are telling you that if you are over 35, you cannot apply for employment. But these people, they are 70, 80-year-olds making this in parliament. They are sleeping live on national television. They are sleeping live on national television. And they are telling you that if you are over 35, you cannot apply for employment. So what is it exactly that is going to happen with people who are over 35 who are unemployed? What is it exactly does the government want to happen with these people? What is the game plan? Because there's no way that every time when you see some posts out there, people trying to apply for work, they will tell you that it's from 18 to 35. What does it mean for people who are over 35? So if you are unemployed, if you are 35 and you are unemployed, then it's done with you. It's done. Because even the post that they advertise are not even accommodating you. They are not accommodating you. So what is it exactly do these people want to happen with all of these people who are over 35 still applying for employment? They are telling you about criminal record, man. They are telling you, I remember some company told me to go to police station to do a criminal record, to check if I don't have a criminal record. But these things are not required of politicians. That is the thing. These things are not required of politicians. They are telling you about criminal record. The same people who are being accused of committing crimes, they are telling you about criminal record. We know these people are. We know the kind of lifestyle these people live. They are supposed to be public servants, but these people are living the most lavish lifestyle in the world. They are supposed to be public servants. But they are living the kind of life that they are living, man. An average South African will never taste that life. The perks that these people are enjoying in parliament. An average South African man will never enjoy a fraction of that perks. But these people, they are telling you about laws. They are telling you about you need to be clean. You don't have to. You don't need to have any. You don't need to have any criminal record. If you have a criminal record, then your future is done. How can they say your future is done when you have criminal record? When they have thugs in parliament? How is that acceptable? Do you understand when I said that Mr. Willie was telling the truth? When we said that this position that we are in South Africa, we deserve it. We've allowed the politicians to do this. We've allowed that. Guys, I think we have a voice note. I'm going to try to play a voice note right now. I don't know if it is going to be audible, but I'm going to try to play a voice note right now to hear what Garth says.
Good morning, bud. The thing is, in South Africa, we have an ANC and an EFF who have been built on the ideals of communism. Communism believes, or should I say, even though it's supposed to be for everybody, which it never will be, it consists of politicians who take everything and you live by their grace. And this is how the ANC operates. Now, do we have an opposition party who has the balls?
No, guys. Sorry for now. I'm going to play this voice note because I can hear that the sound is low, so I have an idea what I'm going to do so that the sound can be audible. So let's keep playing Katleo while I'm trying to make a plan fast so that the sound can be audible.
Gayton McKenzie and Kenny Kunene have followed in those same footsteps. Would you allow a thief, even a former one, to be a security guard watching your gold? Would you allow a child molester, even a former one, to be your child's teacher or babysitter? Why then do you allow criminals to run the affairs of our nation? Affairs that affect you. Allow criminals to allow a thief, even a former one, to be a security guard watching your gold? Would you allow a child molester, even a former one, to be your child's teacher or babysitter? Why then do you allow criminals to run the affairs of our nation? Affairs that affect your money, your education, your healthcare, your children, and many other things. In many places, criminals know that they can't run for office, but not in South Africa. And that's what I hate the most about the ANC-led government. They have made light of corruption. They have given corrupt officials ministerial and presidential positions. They've made it seem like everyone pointing out corruption is creating a smear campaign against the corrupt people. Julius Malema is even brave enough to say that journalists that expose him are either racist or agents of white monopoly capital. The fact that no cases are opened and no arrests made for the many millions looted confuses the voters. When we tell voters that these politicians are corrupt, the voters conclude that we are liars, we are smear campaigners.
They said we are being paid. Tell them, Katleo, they say we are being paid. Whenever we tell these people that politicians are corrupt as hell, whenever we tell these people, they are telling us, no, man, we love these politicians. These guys are our celebrities. These guys are the celebrities. They tell us that we are being bored because we are simply telling them what is happening. They tell us we are being bored, and we tell these people that, guys, why are you simply refusing to open your eyes and see what is happening? Why are you blatantly refusing to open your eyes and see what is happening? Whenever we try to talk about these politicians, whenever we try to say what these people are doing, we have people defending politicians. These guys are supposed to be public servants. Supposed to be public servants. Instead of being celebrities that are defended. No, people are telling us, no, you cannot say anything about Julius Malema. Julius Malema is the best thing after Jesus Christ. You can't say nothing about him. This is where we are in South Africa today. And worst part, the people who are doing these things are young people. So is there any hope for South Africa? When we have young people defending politicians, is there any hope for South Africa?
People. Julius Malema is even brave enough to say that journalists that expose him are either racist or agents of white monopoly capital. The fact that no cases are opened and no arrests made for the many millions looted confuses the voters. When we tell voters that these politicians are corrupt, the voters conclude that we are liars, we are smear campaigners, agents targeting their innocent politicians. To these voters, all the money we say these politicians have received doesn't matter. To these voters, these people are innocent because if they were criminals, they are supposed to be in jail. This is a fact because to a normal citizen, criminals must go to jail when they have been exposed. Why then are these politicians not going to jail? It must mean they are innocent. We are surrounded by dirty pigs left, right and center, and voters don't know who to vote for. They have damaged our political landscape, our state entities and our economy. And it got me thinking to myself, this is likely treason.
It
So I did
is.
some looking around and I found this. The relevant findings by Judge Friedman are: treason can be committed in times of peace as well as war. The key element is hostile intent, which includes unlawfully impairing or endangering the existence, independence, or security of the state. Motive of serving an enemy country or seditious group is not required. Greed can be the motive. Direct intention to undermine or sabotage the state is not required. Hostile intent is proven if the perpetrator knew that by striving to fulfill his aim, he would impair or endanger the existence, independence, or security of the government. The ANC's corruption and inability to act against corrupt figures inside and outside the ANC is diminishing our standards of what's acceptable in the offices of leadership, thus endangering the independence or security of our government. This is treason. The vast majority of them know the crimes of their comrades and they have let them take office and stay in power. That's why they send threats to each other like children, speaking to each other through the media to get their opponents to back off, or else I will snitch on you too. If you tell on me, I'll tell on you. South Africa, I hope you can place your vote in the hands of decent people. Let's restore pride in our institutions. Read about the leaders of these political parties and identify the clean ones. Vote for the clean ones, the ones with a good public record and the best service record, the ones that never looted when they were mayors and leaders. While you're at it, please donate to our bank account, which is below, or join our YouTube membership. Give what you can if you can. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share and repost this video using #SmartVoters, #CitizenConcerned. Always
Beware of the comrades.
beware of the comrades.
And guys, please make sure that you support Katleho, man. Her channel is amazing. It is called Citizen Concerned. I promised you to play a voice note. I've got a voice note from Mr. Garth. I'm going to play a voice note right now.
But the thing is, in South Africa, we have an ANC and an EFF who have been built on the ideals of Good morning, but the thing is, in South Africa, we have an ANC and an EFF who have been built on the ideals of communism. Communism believes, or should I say, even though it's supposed to be for everybody, which it never will be, it consists of politicians who take everything and you live by their grace. And this is how the ANC operates. Now, do we have an opposition party who has the balls to take on the ANC should they ever win the election? I don't believe so. I don't think Steenhuisen and the DA will take the ANC to task.
I've said this before. Sorry for cutting your voice note, Mr. Garth. I've already said this before, that The DA had the stage to do everything, but for some reason the DA dropped the ball. The DA dropped the ball. So the fact that people in South Africa still want to vote for the African National Congress, it tells you a lot about opposition parties. What does it say about opposition parties? And guys, please give me those voice notes, guys. I've dropped numbers on the pinned comment. Let the voice notes come. Let's start the dialogue, guys. Let's go. What is happening now with my system? What is happening with my system now? Jeez. Mr. Garth, can you please resend the voice note? Please, kindly, please. Because there's something wrong with my system here because I'm trying to play the voice note. Guys, what are your thoughts, man, on what we've been talking about? What are your thoughts? We are live right now. We are live with you. I'll be live with you again. Early into later today, I'll be live with you again. What are your thoughts on all of these things that we keep talking about? Because there's no way that we're going to fix South Africa. I mean, you know, if there's one thing that I've realized about South Africa is that a lot of us want the same things for the country. A lot of South Africans, we want the same things for this country. I don't know why we keep allowing these people. I don't know why we keep allowing people to mess up things for us in South Africa. I mean, you know, an average South African, they want a country where they can easily find employment. They want a country that is safe. They want a country that can provide a good quality education for their children. And they want a country that has a future. As South Africans, we have more things in common. We want the same things for South Africa. But we keep allowing politicians to take that away from us. They want us to have problems. As long as we have all of these problems, this is exactly what politicians want. They want us to have all of these problems so that they can keep existing without the politicians, without having problems. Politicians, there's no need for politicians to exist. There's no need. Guys, I don't know what is wrong with my system, and my system is letting me down. Please, Mr. Garth, can you please resend the voice note? Because it is still now. Thank you so much, Mr. Garth. Thank you.
Good morning, bud. The thing is, in South Africa, we have an ANC and an EFF who have been built on the ideals of communism. Communism believes, or should I say, even though it's supposed to be for everybody, which it never will be, it consists of politicians who take everything and you live by their grace. And this is how the ANC operates. Now, do we have an opposition party who has the balls to take on the ANC should they ever win the election? I don't believe so. I don't think Steenhuisen and the DA will take the ANC to task. This is where the problem lies. The ANC will walk out of here without a scratch. What should happen is all the money the ANC has borrowed and stolen that was donated by China in the billions, the new government of South Africa, should they win, should turn around and say that money never saw South Africa, so therefore recoup it from the ANC. South Africa should not carry the debt and the burden of the ANC corruption. However, if we do not vote and we do not stand together at the next election, we will be ruined. There will be no South Africa left. So I don't know how we're going to fix this, and the only way to fix this is for black, white, Indian, Chinese residents, whoever are living in South Africa, to get together and be one nation. While we're infighting, we will never get South Africa right.
Never. And this is what the ANC wants. They want us divided. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, Mr. Garth. Thank you so much for resending the voice note. Guys, please keep send the voice notes, guys, so that we can play them. I want us to start a dialogue. You remember last month I said that I want this platform to be here. I want us to communicate in real time. So please send those voice notes. I want to hear what are your thoughts on what we are talking about. Please, guys, please. What are your thoughts on what we are talking about? Please. Send those voice notes. Don't be shy. Send those voice notes. Send them. Send them. Let's hear what you think. You can differ from us. It is okay. It is okay. You can differ from us. There is nothing wrong with differing from us. It is okay. But guys, please send those voice notes so that I can hear what you guys think.
Please, guys, please.
So that I can. So that I can hear what you guys think. Thank you so much to Mr. Garth, man, for sending the voice note, man. I really appreciate that so much. And he said something that is very important. He said something that is very important. He said that he doesn't believe that the DA will take the ANC to task. Guys, if you've been here with me for some time, you know that I've said this before, that the ANC is the worst political party to ever exist. It is the worst. But the fact that we don't have an opposition party that can take the ANC to task, it says a lot about these people. The fact that today we have South Africans who are willing to vote for the African National Congress for the second time, for the third, fourth time, with us having all of these opposition parties, it says a lot about opposition parties. It says a lot about them. There's no way, man. There's no way. There's no way. You can't tell me that South Africans think that the ANC is the one that is going to bring us a better life, man. You can't tell me that. These opposition parties, man, there's nothing that these guys have never proven themselves. They have never proven themselves that they can take the ANC to task. I've said this many times. I've said that the DA going to 2024 with the John Steenhuisen, man, that is the biggest mistake of their life. Because right now the DA is literally fighting for its existence. It's fighting for its existence. And you listen to people today talk about politics in South Africa. People are talking about President Ramaphosa and they are talking about Julius Malema. People are not mentioning John Steenhuisen. The fact that John Steenhuisen is not part of the conversation today, it says a lot about him. It says a lot about the Democratic Alliance. This has never happened before. Even when Mmusi Maimane was still the leader of Democratic Alliance, people were talking about Mmusi Maimane. People were talking about the Democratic Alliance. Mmusi Maimane was a part of conversation. This is the reason why. Even when the DA dropped, they didn't drop so much because Mmusi Maimane was the part of the conversation. The same thing with Helen Zille. Helen Zille was part of the conversation. This is the reason why people could not ignore her. She was part of the conversation. But today you have John Steenhuisen and you have the leader, you have the DA of today. These people, it's like, I don't know, it's almost as if the Democratic Alliance has been tied and told not to move because they are not moving right now. The Democratic Alliance is not moving. I can argue that the Action SA, Patriotic Alliance and the EFF, they have more motion than the Democratic Alliance. I can argue today that Action SA and Patriotic Alliance and EFF, they have more motion on the wheels than Democratic Alliance. What is happening with Democratic Alliance? Guys, I wanted to buy a bell because I wanted to wake up the Democratic Alliance. If you have a bell, please donate me a bell. I want to ping, 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 ping. Hello, what is happening with you guys? You are sitting here saying nothing when the country is going down. You are allowing us to think that the only options that we have for 2024 is Julius Malema and President Ramaphosa and maybe with the help of these small political parties. Where is that DA of the powerhouse? Where is the powerhouse Democratic Alliance? Where is the sea of blue? Where is it? I'm going to read a few comments. Nguna says the government is inherently incompetent and no matter what task it is assigned, it will do it in the most expensive and ineffective way possible. They charge the highest rates, but they do the most basic job. A comrade is never wrong. Mr. Raditako says, a comrade is never wrong. They can never investigate and arrest one another. A signed and sealed agreement. I believe this is a signed and sealed agreement. There is no way, guys. There is no two ways about it. There is no way you can tell me that comrades can commit all of these crimes and nothing happens with these people. There's no way. JB says they openly admit that they are crooks. Man, you just saw the video, man. You just saw the video where who is this lady? They used to call her the drunkard lady, but I don't think she's a drunkard, because I think she has a condition, but I think her condition is being drunk. She was talking that the ANC have their smaller skeletons. Jacob Zuma was saying that if you threaten me about what you know about me, I also know things about you. So these people, they are playing Russian roulette at the expense of South Africa. Amanda Stender says a citizen consent for SA president. Man, I believe. Mabeka says the pass rate has been lowered to give students a pass mark, but they are not capable of applying their knowledge. There's no knowledge to get, Mrs. Baker, because these people are as good as uneducated. Man, I've said this many times. That education system that we have today, children finishing matric, they're as good as uneducated. Most of these children, they cannot even read, they cannot even write. They're as good as uneducated. Mr. Four says, imagine being 35 and being white. Imagine being over 35 and being white. Guys, this whole thing of over 35, we really need to talk about this thing. Honestly, you can't tell me that people over 35, they cannot apply for employment when we have grandmothers and grannies sleeping in parliament live on national television while spending the taxpayers' money. Are you telling me that there's nothing that can be done about this over 35 rule that we don't know where it comes from? Vusi Dumisani says, South African politicians, many of them don't care about the plight of the poor. I think right now it is evident that these people don't give a damn about the plight of South Africa. I think it is safe to say these people don't give a damn about the plight of South Africa. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. If these people cared about about what is wrong with South Africa, man, there's no way. There's no way. And the fact that politicians, and the fact that being a politician today, it is the easiest way to get to the money. Guys, that is disgusting. It is disgusting. The fact that being a politician, it is the easiest way to make money. Guys, it is disgusting. Katlego already spoke about Ken Kunene and Gaten McKenzie. We're not saying we're gonna sit here and criticize Gaten McKenzie and criticize Ken Kunene for their past. Everyone has a past. Maybe they have a bad past. But even if you have a bad past, I don't want you to be my president. Even if you've learned from your mistake, just don't be my president. You can learn from your mistake, but don't be my president. Don't go around telling people that, don't go around telling people that if you vote for me, we're going to do something better. Man, we want you to fix yourself and get the hell out. Get out of the way. You have a past. All of us have a past. But this whole thing of you guys going around as leaders, it shows that in South Africa, there are no standards. There are no standards in South Africa. That is the saddest part about South Africa.
To them must go to the structures of the ANC, because this has been the culture of the ANC. And therefore, if there are differences, they must be sorted out from the officials level up until the National Executive Committee level. They cannot be sorted out through media statements. So we might have different issues, and all those issues are not important. It is the ANC that is important. All of us there in the NEC have our smallanyana skeletons, and we don't want to take out all skeletons out, because they will be, or hell will break loose.
Uma bazizinto ngami engingazazi mina ngazi izinto ngabo abanye abazaziyo bona ukuthi zinjani.
If they know things about me that I don't know, I also know things about them. So I don't want them to appear innocent at my expense. I will defend myself.
Just imagine, guys, man. Just imagine. Imagine, man, these guys are openly telling you that we have secrets there. And if these secrets go out, man, all hell will break loose. All hell will break loose, man. Like Jacob Zuma, man. Jacob Zuma with the Guptas, man. Same example. Jacob Zuma with the Guptas. If you really follow the whole thing of the Guptas, of Jacob Zuma, man, and the fact that today you have Duduzane Zuma going around saying that he wants to be the president of the country, you can't blame him for wanting to be the president of the country when you can see the standards of being the president of South Africa. You can see the politicians that we have in South Africa, the kind of politicians that we have in South Africa. I don't blame Duduzane Zuma for wanting to be the president of South Africa. I don't blame him. There's no standards in South Africa. There are no standards. Babaliko says Julius Malema is fighting a good fight. Babaliko, I would love it one day if you could send a voice note and try to make us understand, because I know that you love Julius Malema so much and you love the EFF so much, man. I appreciate you being here as much as we have our own differences, but the fact that we can still be here and have a conversations. I know that I've spoke with you. We've had conversations with you. I love the fact that we have different political views, and I love the fact that you are not scared to defend your views. So please, guys, send us those voice notes. Guys, drop those voice notes. JB says in rural areas they are voting for the promised food and parcels and RDP houses. In rural areas they are voting for the promised food parcels and RDP houses. This is the same tactic that the African National Congress has been using for years. They are still going to use it for years from now. This tactic, they are going to use it for such a long time because it is working wonderful for them. It is working so wonderful for them. I mean, like, why would you want to create a conducive environment where businesses can come and thrive and people be employed when you can create a state where people depend on social grants? This is what the ANC has done. And you see right now, JB is talking about they're voting for food parcels and RDP houses. It is true. It is true. People are saying that, no, man, the ANC needs to stop with this thing of their T-shirts, man, it is working for the ANC. Why? Because the ANC knows its voters. The ANC understands who their voters are. I think the other thing that makes other political parties go around as insane is the fact that they don't understand their voters. The African National Congress understands their voters. The ANC knows that once they come to our neighborhoods holding those blankets, holding those food parcels, giving out RDP houses, President Ramaphosa kissing your grandmother, washing your grandmother's feet, they know it will work for them. It will work on their favor. There is no party in South Africa that understands its voters like the African National Congress. You can say whatever that you want to say about the ANC, but those guys, they understand their voters and they know how to play to their voters. Amanda Stander says Malema is fighting freedom. You don't want the EFF guys to start coming for us, man. You know how sensitive those guys are. Shamin says, I still don't know who to vote for. All I know is I have to go and vote. I know I have to go and vote too, man. But this whole thing of voting for politicians, this is one thing that is really giving me sleepless nights. The fact that I'm going to have to vote for some low quality politician because I have to vote, man. This is exactly why I'm so frustrated. As we approach 2024, man, my frustrations are going up. I'm going up because I can see that, man, damn, we are going to vote in 2024. Before you know it, we'll have fools running this country for 5 years. Fools, incompetent. Christopher says it's propaganda of fear of everything for the kingdom. Shirley says, want to be proud of our country. Imagine how much better we could be. We want to be proud of our country, Shirley. I understand you completely. We want to be proud of our country. 4 says the DA would rather convince your son he is your daughter. I don't want to. You know this whole thing of America, man. I don't want this whole thing of America because this topic in America, it is actually a huge conversation right now in America. This whole thing of boys transitioning into boys and girls transitioning into girls, the gender and the pronouns, it is a big conversation in America, man. So one of 4 says the DA would rather convince your son he is your daughter. Mabakwena says, I can't vote for Mr. Open Borders. 42 buses were about to enter our country illegally. Just imagine, guys, 42 buses. And you know, those 42 buses, the people of this country are the ones, the average South Africans are the ones that are going to have to share the resources with these people. I don't know why people vote with, I don't know why people agree with EFF and their open borders when these people are not even going to live with Julius Malema. Man, if Julius Malema wants open borders, how many illegal immigrants is he going to house in his home? How many illegal immigrants is Julius Malema going to house in his home? No, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to house any illegal immigrant. He wants the illegal immigrants to come into South Africa and come and live in the townships and in informal settlements with you guys, not with them. Julius Malema lives in the suburbs. He doesn't want, man, the illegal immigrants are not allowed there. Man, you can't even go inside, even if you're a South African. Those are gated communities. You can't even go in, even if you're a South African. Just imagine if you're an illegal alien without documents. Mabagwena says, man, I cannot vote for open borders. Man, I cannot vote for open borders, man. I feel for people who have lost their children. I feel for people now, today, that are dealing with their children being drug addicts because of these guys, man. I honestly cannot vote for anyone who advocates for open borders. Guys, it looks like we have another voice note. Guys, please keep them coming, guys. Let's open this dialogue. Keep them coming. Keep the voice notes coming, guys. Let's talk, man. We agree, we disagree. We are here. It looks like we have a voice note from Mr. Gideon. Let's hear what Mr. Gideon is saying.
Hi Thomas, this is Mr. G from the United Kingdom. I'm listening to you right now. Great show as always. Thomas, the problem in South Africa is that the voters don't know what are they voting for, and the 30% pass mark of our children just shows you that the government don't give a toss about our children. That is why they can take advantage of the voters in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gideon. Guys, Mr. Gideon is out there in the United Kingdom. He's watching the platform from the United Kingdom. Thank you so much, Mr. Gideon, for watching the platform. I fully agree with you, man. This whole thing of 30%, it was done deliberately. It was done deliberately because if you have 30%ers, these people, they cannot even think. This is why they are going around defending politicians. 30%ers are going around defending politicians. They can't even think. They don't want politicians to be held accountable. When they see politicians, they see celebrities. And this is the biggest problem that we have in South Africa today. Politicians are acting like celebrities because the people are allowing them to act like celebrities. So shout out to you, Mr. Gideon, out there in the United Kingdom. Guys, let's show Mr. Gideon some love, man. He's watching from far away. Byron Jerome says, so if there is no opposition parties to take the ANC to task, what would be the sensible vote? Guys, this question is tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Because this is exactly what is frustrating me. The fact that we honestly in South Africa don't have an opposition party that can take an ANC to task. The fact that after everything that the African National Congress has done, after everything that the ANC has done, we still have majority of voters in the country willing to vote for the African National Congress. Willing. What does it say about opposition parties? And Mr. Byron says, what would be the sensible vote? Guys, please help me answer Mr. Byron, because I'm frustrated right now. I'm frustrated at these people going around starting small parties. Now in South Africa, we have 1 million small political parties. Most of these guys, they have the same values. They want the same things. Why don't these guys come under one umbrella? No one knows. It's almost it feels like these people, they don't want to hold ANC accountable. It feels like they don't want to hold ANC accountable. I mean, just imagine one political party. This is my mind. I'm just fantasizing. I know that it will never happen. One political party. You have Herman Mashaba. You have Musi Maimane. You have Songeso Zibi. You have all of these political parties, man. You have Freedom Fund Plus. You have all of these political parties that has the same vision for South Africa, that want the same thing for South Africa, and they open one political party and they say, guys, our biggest goal is to take out the African National Congress and deliver the services to the people of South Africa. Man, as much as I criticize the DA for being asleep when the country needs them right now, I criticize the DA for being asleep when the country needs them right now. I cannot criticize Moonpek Short because the idea is brilliant, man. The fact that we can say, yes, we agree that there's a lot of issues that we disagree on, but let's try to work on the ideas that we can agree on. Let's work on the ideas that we can agree on, man. I really shout out to the DA, man, for that move, because this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. As long as we have all of these small political parties, guys, I'm telling you today, the ANC will always be in power. Because all of these small political parties, in 2024, they're going to be kingmakers. They're going to be kingmakers. And if you think all of these small political parties are not willing to work for the African National Congress to taste a bit of success, man, clearly you don't know what you're talking about. Clearly you don't know what you're talking about. These small political parties, they were started so that they can be approached by the African National Congress in 2024. They are here to give the ANC the victory in 2024. Let me repeat that. The small parties are here to give the ANC victory in 2024. If they were really serious about the future of this country, if these people really loved South Africa, they would form one political party and show South Africans that, guys, you have ANC and you have this party. This is what we stand for. This is what the African National Congress stands for. And let the voters decide. Let the voters decide. You see, this is what I don't like about living in the township, man. These people are making noise. Jesus. Man, this is one of the disadvantages of living in the township, man. People, they don't care. They just make noise. They play music. They do whatever that they want to do. So, Mr. Byron, man, I honestly don't know what would be the most sensible vote. I don't know. Guys, please, let's try to answer Mr. Byron. And guys, please send those voice notes. Send the voice notes. Send the voice note. We are starting today on Monday. We are taking the voice notes. Later, we're going to take the calls. Later, we are taking the calls. Now, please send the voice notes. There's a number there on top. I've pinned the numbers. Those are the WhatsApp line. Please, guys, send the voice notes so that I can hear what you think about what we are talking about today. And let's say, to be honest, in this past 1.5 years in American politics, opened my eyes to South Africa. To be honest, this past 1.5 years, American politics opened my eyes to South African politics. I can say the same thing, but okay, I've been following American politics for a long time now. What I love there is that at least, man, there's a bit of standard. And you know what I love about American people? American people, if they are not happy with the Republicans, they are going to vote out the Republicans. The American people, they know what democracy is. In South Africa, you have people telling Zimbabweans that, nah, you are still under ZANU-PF. You don't know democracy. You are still under ZANU-PF. How ironic, man. The fact that in 30 years in South Africa, we have never, in 30 years, we have never exercised democracy. We have never said, okay, the African National Congress, you've done a terrible job. Get out, the DA, come in. No, the DA, you are doing a terrible job. Get out, Action SA, come in. We have never done that. We've always been with African National Congress. We've always stuck with African National Congress. So, man, shout out to American politics too, man. Like, they've really opened my eyes. They've really opened my eyes. Amanda Stender says, how about Inkatha Freedom Party? How about IFP, guys? What are your thoughts on IFP? Do you love IFP? Do you think IFP would do a better job than the African National Congress, man? But with everything that is happening in KZN, I'm not so sure. Sam Owen says, once ANC is gone and the EFF, South Africa will be saved. Once ANC is gone and the EFF, South Africa will be saved. Shamin says, you are right, Thomas. The masters have put the shackles on the DA. It feels like it. It feels like the masters have said, the DA, you need to stand still. Don't move. And I don't know what they are playing at. Because this is the future of the country. This is our future. This is our children's future. I don't know what these people are playing at. I don't know what these people are playing at. This is the future of our children. It feels like the masters have put the shackles on the DA. And it feels like the DA has been told not to move. You dare make a move, we're going to punish you. To what end? What is it exactly that we are going to see in 2024? Guys, the fact that we have the DA so silent. The DA is silent. If the DA is so silent going into 2024, guys, what is going to happen in 2024? The DA is not a part of the conversation today. The DA, it is not a part of the conversation today. And this is the first time, I've never seen this before. The DA has always been the part of the conversation, especially when we go into the elections. The DA has always been the part of the conversation. But not today. Not today. The DA is not the part of the conversation. South Africans are talking about Julius Malema. They are talking about Ramaphosa. And they are talking about Action SA, Herman Mashaba to some extent. Where is the DA? Where is the DA? Guys, if you have a bell, please donate me a bell. So that I can ring the bell, and be like, DA, wake the hell up. The country needs you. The country needs you. You guys are sleeping there. What is it exactly that you are playing at? Mabakwena says, Action SA, thumbs up. Garth McCarthy says, we need to make South Africa great again. Make South Africa great again. Just imagine wearing the cap that says make South Africa great again, man. In South Africa, we'll have people acting like the Democrats. When Donald Trump says make America great again, they said, no, you want to take America back to its to its oppressive ways and whatever. And Donald Trump is like, no, man. This country was great. This country of our forefathers was great. This is the same thing with South Africa, man. Like, you see, when you go to town or when you go to the next province or something like that, and you see the infrastructure and you see how crumbled the infrastructure is, man, it is a mess. It is a mess. I just got a message right now, guys. It comes from Tato Endless Sekese. Mr. Sekese just sent me a screenshot. I'm going to try to read it because he says that, hello, Mr. Mabaso, look at this and look at our politics and give me your thoughts. The platform of Democratic Party of the United States is generally based on American liberalism. Contrasting with the conservatism of the Republican Party, the party has large centrist and progressive wings as well as smaller fiscal conservative and democratic socialist elements. Democratic platforms seek to promote social programs, labor unions, consumer protection, worker safety regulation, equal opportunity, disability rights, racial equality, regulations, regulations against environmental pollution, and criminal justice reform. Democrats tend to support abortion rights and the LGBTQ community, as well as the pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. Democrats typically agree with the scientific consensus on climate change and favor a multiracial approach in foreign policy. Man, the scrap of this guy. Just jeez, I don't know if that is a car or it's a scrap. Jeez. The screenshot says the platform of the Democratic Party. I was distracted, guys, by this noise that is coming outside. There's this guy with this car. I don't know if I should call it a car that is making such noise. It has been like that since in the morning, man. This is the reason why I'm telling you these are the disadvantages of living in the townships. The screenshot says that the platform of the Democratic Party of the United States is generally based on American liberalism, contrasting with the conservatism of Republican Party. The party has a large centrist and progressive wings, as well as a smaller fiscal conservative and democratic socialist element. Democratic platforms seek to promote social programs, labor unions, consumer protection, workplace safety regulation, equal opportunity, disability rights, racial equality, regulations against environmental pollution, and criminal justice reform. Democrats tend to support abortion rights and the LGBTQ community, as well as the pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. That is where the problem starts. You see, the Democrats, some of the policies of the Democrats, I really like them, especially when it comes to the women's rights, the abortion rights, and the LGBTQ rights. I don't believe that anyone has a right to tell the next person what to say or how to feel or how to live their lives. All of these people who are going around saying, nah, the LGBTQ is doing this, is doing that, guys, leave people, they can live their own lives. Especially when it comes to and again, when it comes to abortion rights, I don't believe that the rights of women should be dictated by political parties. I believe that women have the right to do whatever they want to do with their bodies. It is their bodies. They have the right to do whatever they want to do with their bodies. But you see, every time when it comes to undocumented immigrants in the United States, man, that is where me and the Democratic parties tend to be like opposite sides. Me and the Democratic Party, we are on opposite sides when it comes to that. When it comes to that one, if it looks like we got another voice note, this one is a bit long. It's from Chad Blinknot. I hope I'm saying your name right. No, let me turn on the device first. Guys, you know I had to buy a speaker, man, so that I can play these voice notes, man.
It's Chad, yeah. Some of your viewers may know me as the joking atheist. I want to just start off by saying thank you for providing a platform where people can have a conversation, and a very important conversation about where this country is going and what we should be doing in the future. The problem that I've discovered, and I think people need to realize this, is they always keep asking, well, who should we vote for? Because, you know, this party's got that problem and that party's got this problem. And what you need to realize is we need a reasonable expectation. A reasonable expectation of a party that can move the country forward. Now, what I mean by this is we need to also realize in all known civilization, all history, in all time, over all time, no political party or government institution has been corruption free. This doesn't exist. You are going to find it. However, there's been deeper, darker levels of corruption and ill-intended governance. So what we have to do is we have to look at, okay, well, which of these parties is the lesser of the evil? And the only way we can discover that is not to vote with our instincts, not to vote with what we're looking at the party in terms of how they brand themselves, etc. This is just on the surface. We need to actually look at what is their track record, what have they done, what are they currently doing, what are their future intentions. Go to their webpage, read their manifestos, and try and understand the party as much as you possibly can. But before you do that, the most important thing, more important than anything else, is you need to understand what it is, the future, the South Africa that you want. You need to understand and know, what do you want and expect out of South Africa for you, for your future generations. You need to know that first, before you can start reading other manifestos and trying to align yourself with a party that closely matches what you expect of South Africa. This is what we need to do. We need to educate ourselves, and we need to think long and hard about what it is we want for our futures. Do we want to just be given free shit all the time? Or do we want a country that actually functions, that actually works, that works for me, it works for you, it works for everybody else? This is what we need to be doing. Anyway, thank you for the platform, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chet. Thank you so much, man. You've mentioned something that is very important. We need to look at the parties. We need to look at their track record. We need to say, okay, this party says people must vote for them. What have they done? And we need to be reasonable, because there will always be corruption, man. I fully agree with you. The corruption that we are witnessing right now is totally out of control. You see, every time when you talk about what the party has done, when you talk about what the party has done, people will always tell you about the Democratic Alliance and what the Democratic Alliance has done in Western Cape, and how they are still fixing the Western Cape. So people will tell you this is the reason why we believe that the Democratic Alliance, it is the best party for us to have in South Africa in 2024. Be that as it may, the Democratic Alliance is silenced. All of these political parties are silent. All of them is silent. It feels like they've put the shackles on this guy, on the Democratic Alliance. It feels like it. So how are South Africans even going to read about the manifestos of the Democratic Alliance when the Democratic Alliance is not even out there telling the people not to go out there and read the manifestos? They are not doing the conferences. They are not doing the stadium events. They are not coming to the townships. They are not doing that. Nothing. They are sitting still. And all of these political parties, they are sitting still. The only parties that are moving right now in South Africa, it is ANC and EFF. And only these two parties are making people believe that in 2024, we only have two choices. It's either ANC or EFF. There are other political parties with better policies, with a better track record. Guys, South Africa is in trouble, man. And thank you guys for so much for the comments. I can see the comments are coming through like nobody's business. Don't forget to send those voice notes, guys. Send those voice notes. Let's keep the conversation going. JB says, as someone who was born in 1994, I've never seen this country so racially divided. What happened to Rainbow Nation? What happened to Rainbow Nation? Politicians and politics, they thrive on hate and division. This is the only reason these people exist. This is why they are relevant today, because the country is so divided. It is easy for them to come to us and say that you cannot vote for the DA because this is what is going to happen. It is easy for the DA to come and say that you cannot. Guys, people no longer debate the policy, man. In South Africa, you think about these things and you're like, why don't we have the presidential debate in South Africa? Why don't we have presidential debates in South Africa? Why? We need to have presidential debates in this country. We need people to stand there on stage and tell the people why should the people vote for them. Today, South African politicians, man, they don't even want to be asked questions. They hate being challenged. They hate the thought of someone asking them questions. This is why we need presidential debate. We need Ramaphosa to stand on stage next to Steny Hazen, next to Malema, next to Kenneth Mishwe, next to Herman Mashaba. Answer why South Africa has this position today. Ramaphosa must be made to take accountability live on national television. I can promise you today that if we have a presidential debate, I can promise you today that South Africans will realize that 90% of these guys, we don't need them. 90% of these guys masquerading around calling themselves leaders. We don't need them. People need to be able to defend their track record on the stage in front of South Africans. Julius Malema must stand there and tell South Africans why he thinks that opening the border, it is not going to do anything better to South Africans. He must stand there and answer to the families that have lost their loved ones, the families that has lost their children. He needs to stand on stage and answer that. John Steenhuisen needs to tell us about the crime in Cape Town. He needs to tell us what is happening there in crime in Cape Town. He needs to tell us why is there this typical stereotype that Cape Town is racist and everything. People need to be held accountable live on national television so that the people of South Africa can make their own decisions. Man, the fact that today in South Africa we don't have presidential debates for people who want to lead our country, it is a mess. It is a mess. PK says, I will vote for the party that did the least amount of harm. I know the smaller parties won't win. Their polls reach between 2%, maybe 7%, while other parties, ANC, EFF, and DA, are in double digits. So he will vote for the party that did the least amount of harm. I think this is the same thing that was said by the gentleman on the voice note, that guys, whether we like it or not, there will always be crime, there will always be these sort of things, but we need to be able to say, okay, these guys, as much as these guys have been alleged to have done 1, 2, 3, at least they didn't do as much as that one. It still feels like voting for the better devil. PK also continues to say, the DA does the least harm. I don't like them, but I also know they are the only party that stands a chance to win against the other two. Shamin says, Thomas, the ANC has banned Starlink, which would have brought internet to the poorest and most rural areas. Do you think that was also another way of keeping the voters uninformed? Obviously, the ANC has banned Starlink, which would have brought internet to the poorest and most rural areas. Do you think that was another way to keep the voters uninformed? Exactly, man. I can tell you today that if a lot of people in South Africa can access the internet, a lot of people in South Africa can access the internet, man, the way people vote, the arguments that have been made on national television, you know, the mainstream media on national television, you know those guys are the worst. The truth is online. So if the ANC banned Starlink, the Starlink that would have helped the people in rural areas, clearly they want those people to be uninformed. They want them to be like that. They want them to be like that. Gata says the ANC, but the ANC, what a million political parties, because it splits the votes against them. Man, they can split the vote against the ANC, but these guys know that they can do nothing with those percentages. They're going to go back to the African National Congress. This is why Panyazal Sufi said the ANC is not going to force anyone to work with them. Why? Because the ANC understands that all of these parties, all of these smaller political parties, they want power. The ANC understands that. They fully understand that. So they know after the elections, the smaller parties will be fighting each other to work with the African National Congress. They fully understand this. Shirley says, what about Action SA? Mr. Mashaba is a very good candidate and he is also passionate about South Africa. Matilda says, good morning, Matilda Shawangu. Bridget Dupreez says, unfortunately, Action SA is also funded by the same funders who fund ANC, DA, EFF. In fact, all the major parties in parliament. Our only way and hope is OHM voting for change in the next constitution. It is a very interesting point to make. Unfortunately, Action SA is also funded by the same funders who fund ANC, DA, EFF. In fact, all the major parties in South Africa are funded by these guys. Guys, guys, you guys are going to learn the hard way, man. You see this thing of debating politicians, you're going to learn the hard way, man. I feel like as South Africans, we should start a system that is going to operate outside of politics. I think we should find a system that is going to operate outside of politics. Guys, my voice is messed up. I'm going to cut a stream right now. I would love to sit here with you all day, but my voice is messed up and I have to attend to it. I'll be here with you later. I know last time I said that I'm gonna join the stream later, but thanks to the load shedding and all the mess that is happening, I couldn't do that. I also had to attend my uncle's funeral over the weekend. This is also the reason why I didn't do any streams over the weekend. So today we are back. Guys, please, let's support the channel, guys. Let's support the channel. To each and every one of you who has contributed to the channel, thank you so much. We are here today. We can communicate with each other today through your donations. So guys, thank you so much for donating to the platform. Let's meet later, man. Later we are taking the calls, man. Later we are taking the calls. Guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is